Party started. Late start, but last night sucked. It sucked so bad. Alright, so let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome and good morning to another edition of the Friday Morning Commute. This is your host, Rovin Doug, on his way to the office about 15 minutes later than he should be going. Now, I hope everyone's having an enjoyable week so far. Thank you, Hayde, for joining us this morning. So let's get right down to it. Week 25, Year 2. This is what he has for us. He's got the Mark 44 stand-asides for Titans, the Graviton Forfeit for Hunters, the Nothing Manacle Gauntlets for Warlocks, the Hawkmoon Primary Hand Cannon if you do not have one yet, and then the Legacy Exotic Primary Engram, which, as always, is designed to round out your Year 1 exotics, this time in the primary category. So if you're missing a primary, this would be the one to pick up in order to get more, or to complete that set. Again, this only is weighted towards Year 1 and Year 1s that you do not own. So if you get it and are expecting Year 2, I'm sorry, you will be disappointed. But that's life. So, sorry if I sound kind of nasally and congested, because I am congested. A little bit of a sore throat. Sucking on a cough drop right now. Will not lie. So, this week, we saw the end of Iron Banner on Monday, which was slightly enjoyable. Got to play a little bit. Wasn't too bad. I think I won 1 and lost 3, so I would say that's par for the course for me. On Wednesday, we had the Bungie ride-along, which a lot of people were like, give us news, give us news, give us news. But that wasn't their intent. So, yes, I do agree that this is probably about 6 months, a little too late, in the realm of content delivery. What they did is they sat down with a couple of the level designers and the lead designers and played through the levels, talking about how they set this up, why they set this up. At one point, they were talking about the Regicide mission, which is the final mission, final story mission for the Taken King. It's a big one where you go and you fight the big bad king himself. And they talked about, towards the very end, he's like, you know what, you have severely annoyed me enough that I'm going to pull you in. I'm going to grant you access to my throne room so I can beat you down. And so the design is kind of, and the enemy AI at that point is designed to facilitate that. You come into the chasm room, and there's a visible bridge. You look, and you see these waterfalls. I can't remember if I noticed this the first time or not, but the waterfalls are actually going backwards. They're being drawn up out of the depths instead of falling into the depths. And from a developer point of view, I find this to be very intriguing stuff, because how you design your game to appeal to your players is very serious stuff. Games could be made or broke because of this information, or your decisions, or your lack to adapt accordingly to feedback. But I knew they were not going to be revealing anything new. Not because I had insider information or anything, but because that wasn't their intent. If you looked at Deej's posts on this week at Bungie, especially last week's and the week before, these ride-alongs are not meant to really be a discussion about new content that we're getting. It's supposed to be a discussion about content we already have and why Bungie did it the way they did, for better or for worse. Now, with that being the case, in this week at Bungie, Deej did acknowledge that they're on the line for information on the new PvE experience, and that's coming, as he always says. Now, remember, they've given us information that it's coming. Don't rush them until it's perfected. One thing that would destroy this community faster than impatience is a bad product, especially this bad next expansion, because the community cannot sit back and wait. You're not being forced to play Destiny. I keep playing it because I enjoy it. I find it's fun. Some people, for lack of a better term, mourn the amount of time they put in. But if there's any game that you could have poured over 100 hours in, and there's only been one other game that I've poured close to 190, 200 hours in. And if that game came back available, I would be in it in a heartbeat. But the multiplayer servers are down. There's no way to play without those servers. So I can't. Destiny will be around for a while. If you want to go play another game, go play another game. Just remember that Bungie is still making content. It may not be at the clip that y'all want, but for an average to sub-average player, it's at the speed that is good for us. Now, that doesn't mean that Bungie should, twiddle their thumbs. They still need to deliver a very high-quality product, and they need to do it in a realistic time frame. I don't want to see them rush it and deliver a bad product, though. So, at this point, you're talking the balance between consumer versus quality, or consumer need versus quality. And I would say the consumer needs quality more than the consumer needs content. Because as a content creator, I would rather see high quality, top notch changes that allow for a refreshed experience every time. And I'll be honest, I kind of hope this isn't the new content coming is more includes but is not limited to a renewed raid experience for the old two raids. That would be awesome. But I do want to see what Bungie's thoughts are. And I do think that we're going to get this information during this week at Bungie's. And we're not going to see, in my opinion, much information on what's new and what's upcoming for a while out of the ride-alongs. I think these ride-alongs are going to be, let's see what the developer was thinking whenever they made this content, or what was the audio team thinking when they crafted this musical experience for this encounter. And that's, in my opinion, very interesting, and something that I don't believe enough people really give enough interest to really enjoy these ride-alongs. You know, the chat was very salty at the ride-along. There's no doubt about it. However, it was particularly nice, and kudos out to Bungie, because they didn't have to do this. They're large enough that they really didn't have to. I wasn't expecting it. But at the end of the broadcast, they went and actually rated another Twitch streamer by the name of Melooney, Meloonnie. Go check her out. She's a wonderful Destiny streamer. She does some great work. She is in Germany, I believe, so she does speak German and English. So her chat is German and English. But in any case, I digress. My point in this all is Bungie's trying for transparency. And Bungie's trying for content. And it may not be the exact content we want now, but it's content to give us some exposure to the inner workings of Bungie and some insight into the minds that are going to be creating this new content for us for this year and for Destiny 2 next year. So, keep that in mind. One more time, I'm going to go over Xur's wares for the classes this week. We have the Mark 44 stand-asides for the Titans. We have the Graviton forfeit for the Hunters. We have the Nothing Manacles for Warlocks. We have the Hawkmoon primary hand cannon. And then we have the Legacy Exotic primary engram. Remember, the Legacy engrams are only for Year 1 exotics you do not own. So if you own everything, it's just probably a random roll of a random primary exotic. With that being the case, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys find these entertaining and enjoyable. Again, this is your host, Rovin Doug. If you want to, you can find me elsewhere using the same username here on Periscope or here on YouTube. It's Rovin Doug, R-O-V as in violin, E-N-D-O-U-G. I use that on Twitter, I use that on Twitch, Periscope, and YouTube. So feel free to find me using that username. I will see you next time, and I will see you Starside Guardians. Bye.